Hello everyone. So I'm putting together a guide for people who have slower Supreme Leader Kylo Rens just to help you guys maximize your damage. And this is pretty big in Phase 1 to uh, get as much damage as potential, especially with one Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, because it will help your guild just use one Supreme Leader, and then you could probably throw like a Vader too to get just one Vader team to get the rest of the damage for Phase 1. So my Supreme Leader, he is modded for 573 speed, so that's pretty easy for a lot of players to hit, and will still do pretty good damage, probably about 80%. Alright, and then we're going to switch over to the side tune. It's pretty similar to the solo, but there are a few changes, and you just got to take into consideration that the boss is going to get more turns in, and you don't have as much flexibility to try or risky moves or something like that. And you have to be more conscious about. Oh, I'm tired. Sorry. With mass assist, just because it gives the boss so much more TM. Okay, so we're gonna pass this over. Let's see. Oh yeah, it doesn't work. Alright, now we're just stunning these tunes, and pretty much Crew and Supreme Leader are both just going to be hitting the side tunes now. And then Hux and Thrawn are going to be hitting the main boss. And then I'm going to go over mods at the end. The main thing is just modding for health on all these side tunes. Their speed isn't as important. It's really just their survivability. That's really the only RNG in this is the survivability, because if one dies too early, you're just not going to get enough ult for that last turn, and that's where all the damage comes into play. Alright, go throw this back. We get one more. Alright, now we're going to pop our ult. Basic the boss. Yeah, he's about 80% TM. Oh, and that's a good amount of stuns too. That's always helpful too. A good amount of crits. Usually Thrawn with his lower mastery isn't going to do as much, but alright, so you always want to target the side tunes when you do your Fierce Onslaught, just because it doubles the amount of mastery you're gaining with your Supreme Leader. Alright, then we're going to do another AoE, but now we're actually doing a good amount of damage. Alright, I would rather have lost Thrawn there, but that's okay. Alright, we're going to poke the boss. We're going to save our stun. Hopefully we can line it up to where one of the new side tunes comes around and we can get a stun in there, but that's not as likely. Okay. Alright. Let's just pass this over. Alright, so I'm not going to pop my ult yet. I'm going to use my AoE. And like I said, this is where it gets a little bit more risky. Now, I have to hit him. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so it worked out pretty good, because if the boss would have gone before, we would have gotten very much damage out of it. Alright, so now we're just going to do AoE. Another AoE. And so I tested it. It is better to do 2 of the AoEs in a row than to do 1 AoE and then 2 basics at the very end here. And bam. Alright, and then I'm going to go over the mods really quick. So even with a slower Supreme Leader, we still got 90%, which is really good. Because now you just, have another person throw a, probably not Ray, you probably want to do a Vader or something like that, get that last 10, 15, 20% in. So I put in a crit avoidance just to keep my mods pretty much the same. But you can see his overall speed is 573, and I just threw this mod on here to decrease the speed by enough to where if you don't have as good of mods, you can compare it to the slower Supreme Leader. Alright, and then crew, just have them modded for as much health as possible. Speed's alright, but it's not really that big of a deal. I have defense here, but like I said before, the only thing that really helps them is health, because the boss, he gains stacking armor penetration. And then my Hux, he's not that fast. I feel like this speed is pretty obtainable, but it might be harder to hit that health marker that I currently have him at, which is okay. It just means you're probably going to get a little bit more subjective to RNG in order to get a favorable run. And let's see, Empire now. And Thrawn, I have him at about 70k, 302 speed, pretty easy to hit. And let's go to Hux real quick. Yeah, and Hux, I just have modded for speed and health. I have him pretty decent amount of health. You don't really need that much. It's just, again, to help prevent bad RNG from affecting you too much. Even with my Hux dying early, I still got 90%, so it's not a whole lot of RNG with this. Just only if a character dies too early that it's gonna kind of ruin your run. And so I did see CG. They're investigating the solo I did earlier or something like that. So I'll always create an updated guide depending on what they decide to do. If they decide to nerf the team or to buff the raid boss, which most people would be pretty upset with, but I'll always make whatever video I can to at least get you guys through phase 1. And then you can always use Supreme Leader with Zombie in phase 2 and 3, or Jedi Master Luke. So a lot more guilds might be able to get through this raid, if they could just use one Supreme Leader for phase 1. Yeah, and then earlier I was talking about but I was saying Hux when I was going over the guide. So I'm pretty much recording as I go. The run you saw was just me recording and talking over it as it was happening. So, as you saw, I didn't even have that good of RNG on it. Hux died early, and I still was able to get 90%. So, I feel like this is not a whole lot of RNG involved, unless, your characters are dying off too soon. Yeah, but besides that, you should be able to get pretty good damage with this. If you have any questions or, need help with the mods or your runs aren't going right, just let me know. Good luck, everyone.